Hello, beautiful souls. Your soul assignment this month is to attune to your soul, not the mind. Wow, have you been feeling tired, exhausted, like just depleted? I mean, the body's been going through a massive purge, detox this year, but especially this past month. You know, we've had a grand water trine and we've had the depths of Scorpio that's kept us kind of having to go deep into that final purge to set us up for what's coming next year. So, you know, it's been epic. If you think about who you are now compared to who you were 1 year ago, I'm sure you would say it is completely different. And perhaps your life has transformed in ways you never even expected. But this is exactly what you and the collective need right now. So trust in that process. So it is Sagittarius season, and Sag is really it's the adventurer, the seeker, you know, it desires expansion, can be really open-minded, playful, light-hearted. So, you know, we really felt that shift coming from the depths of Scorpio, especially with that, as I say, that grand water trine that just kept us, you know, wanting to be under the covers, sleeping, but we needed that to be with that, all those little bits that we haven't been able to be with, to really be able to sit with them and witness them and have that cleanse in that watery season. So as I say, Saggy shift is a bit more lighthearted. We can already feel that shift in energy. And at this full moon, it's a Gemini full moon, we're really highlighting the Gemini aspect, which is all about connection, communication, it's playfulness as well. It's a lot about the mind. And what I feel is really here with this energy right now is about our choices. And it's almost like what we've seen from the year so far is that we need to find another way to do things. What we have been doing hasn't been serving us. The way we've been living our lives has not been serving us for whatever reason. And a lot of it's been to do with people pleasing or external validation, you know, and all these things. It's exhausting. It takes effort to do these things. But when we come back to what our true needs are and we really stop seeking externally and really work with what our internal needs are and fulfill them ourselves and make our choices based on that, that's where flow comes. And at the moment it still feels a bit clunky because it's a new way of doing things, and change is scary, change is tricky, and you could be at this time really noticing, especially moving into the festive season, is that some of our choices might upset others. You know, so you could be worried about making the wrong choice or, you know, upsetting others, or, you know, that habit, that old role, the expectations that you have been fulfilling, you know that they deplete you, they exhaust you, they don't uplift you, and you don't want to do that anymore. But right now is trying to implement a new way of being and the flow that comes from that. So if you're feeling a little bit in the mind about your choices, about the right action, that kind of thing, you're perfectly aligned. What it is all about right now, as I say, your soul assignment is to attune to your soul. So where you can, bring in things like journaling. Journaling's great. You know, it could simply be a gratitude list if that works for you. You know, look at what you're grateful for. Look at what you want to put your attention towards. You can start considering that for the energy for next year. It's a great time of year to actually start going, what do I want my year to look like next year? You know, use that mind aspect, get it out on paper, but stop it just churning around in here. You know, meditation is great at this time. Even connecting with friends and communicating, because this is where you'll start to gain insight and a new way of being. So it's like, you know, when we're stuck in our old patterns, our old habits, it's easy to just stay stuck. But this time really is starting us towards our new horizon. It's really highlighting with that adventurous Saggy spirit of how we can take a different approach. It's been a heavy year, and I really want to honour that in you. You know, it's been really heavy. It's been big transformations. So many people are going through epic transformation, you know, major life upheaval. in all areas, relationships, their home base, work, whatever. It's like the old shoes don't fit anymore. And so now it's time to get some new ones and take a different path. And I really invite you actually to get some new shoes. Oh, I got some new boots and oh my God, I feel like I'm walking so differently in them. They're me and I love them, and you know, it really perks up my step. So maybe you could buy a little item for yourself that just represents who you're becoming and what you're moving towards, be it shoes, be it a shirt, a jacket, you know, a piece of jewelry, like something that kind of embodies the energy of what you want to move towards. I think it's a really beautiful way to energetically attune to that and start putting that out in the world. And people notice, they comment, they notice, and they go, oh, I love your boots. And it's like, yeah, this is what I'm stepping into. So, you know, work with that energy and let the world kind of like uplift that energy within you by noticing that part of you as well. It's a really beautiful thing to do. So also really invite you to trust your knowing, like really trust your knowing. Stop trying to seek your worth externally, because that's where you're outsourcing your wisdom, you're outsourcing your knowing, and it's always going to be a disappointment one way or another. You know, it's going to be short-lived because they are not going to be around to fulfill that in you. But you, if you are able to fulfill that in yourself and trust your own inner wisdom, trust your own knowing, trust your soul and what it needs for you to live a life of alignment, there is no fooling you. And it does take practice, you know, but it does. This is, as I say, what the last month was about, was just kind of being forced to have that time with yourself, to really be with your soul in that tired, sleepy, I'm so fatigued phase. And as I say, it means you're perfectly on track. It's actually part of the process. So this month, our practice is really working with the collective attitudes to pain and suffering. And it's really about just kind of what I said. It's about how we outsource our sense of identity with others. And what it is, it's a collective. This is the energy that we're shifting, is the aspect of blame. And this is all part of the 2027 shift. I've talked about this before. You know, we have, for 400 years, we've had our institutions and they've provided an element of safety. We fulfill what they need of us, and it's like we have a bargain. We fulfill that and they give us security. You know, they fulfill us, if you like. But what that has also created is a sense of blame. If something goes wrong, it's because we're seeking our sense of identity outside of ourselves. If something goes wrong, we blame somebody else. They did this to me, they hurt me, they let me down, and I'm suffering because of them. This is what has to change, and this is why we've had the year we've had. Next year might be a little bit similar, but it's also going to be a little bit more easeful, because we have been moving many planets through the final degrees of Pisces. That's the final degrees of the whole zodiac cycle. And a lot of them have been retrogrades, they've been going back and forth. So this is like the completion of a cycle. And in February and March, we have a couple of planets. We have Neptune and Saturn go direct, and I think Jupiter around that time as well. But basically, we've got some forward momentum. We've got a whole new cycle, some going into Aries, which means the start of a whole new zodiac cycle. So this time of completion is really seeing the grief and the sadness and how we have done that self-sacrifice in order to, you know, fulfill that role. So now we really need to honour where we have been in blame, where we have been creating our suffering through that, and recognise that it is time to come back to you, to your soul, to empower yourself. No more relying on outside sources. No more. This is all about you, honouring who you are, standing in your truth, and watching the world magically align what you need because of that. Those that are holding on and that are still in blame, that are still, you know, sourcing their sense of identity externally, it's going to create a lot of suffering this next 12 months, because the completion of that shift, or the turning point of that shift, completion's an ongoing process, but is in February 2027. So we have another year to start, like finish culling, clearing, detoxing, and find those new shooters to walk that new path. The path that feels really aligned, the path that empowers you, the path that you actually want to live out the rest of your life living. So the simple practice we're going to do today is working with knowing that you are safe to do that, knowing that your world is not going to fall apart if you disappoint someone, knowing that the world is not going to fall apart if you choose to put your needs first instead of sacrificing them for somebody else. So just for a moment, hand on the heart, maybe a hand on your lower belly, and say, I am safe. Notice how it feels. It may feel very uncomfortable and vulnerable, because this is why it's been our fears of abandonment, our fears of not belonging, our fears of not fitting in and being accepted that has created this behavior. No more. So, I am safe. So we're going to work a little bit with some tapping of various points that I'm going to guide you through just to help shift this energy. So we're going to start just at the bottom of our sternum. So this hard bone here, we're just going to start at the bottom of our sternum. So just repeating to yourself or out loud, I am safe. I am safe. Really feel it as you say it. I am safe. I am safe. I am safe. And we're going to just move up to a little bit higher, just above that part in the sternum. I am safe. I am safe. Just noticing what's happening in your body as you're doing this. I am safe. I am safe. All right, we're going to come either side of the sternum, just under these collarbones, clavicles. So just here, I am safe. I am safe. I am safe. Okay, I'm going to come up to just under the bottom lip on your chin. I am safe. I am safe. And then to your top lip, I am safe. I am safe. We're going to come between the eyes, between the eyebrows. I am safe. I am safe. And then finally putting a hand on top of the head, big breath in, and then saying to yourself, I am safe. Just allowing that to be felt throughout your entire body. So working with that aspect of the mind, but also that felt sense. Notice how that feels now. Do you feel safe? Do you feel less vulnerable? Saying that. And you can repeat this whenever you like, whenever you need to, whenever you're about to speak your truth and go against perhaps the grain of what you've always done, when you're going to say something that you know might disappoint someone. You know, before you do that, before you have that conversation, go through, remind yourself that you're safe. It's actually safe to attune to the needs of your soul and to live that. Like, what else are you actually here for? So, wishing you so many blessings at this close of the year, as we commence towards another. And I'm going to pop just here at the end of my video a solstice meditation that is a little bit about reflecting on your year. It's from a couple of years ago, so you might hear the term 2023, 24, but just adjust it for 2025, 26. And you know, it's a really beautiful meditation to just help you do a bit of a year review and embody what you're going to step into next year, what you really are energetically moving towards in this coming year. So wishing you so many blessings on this journey, and please, I'd love to hear how you're going, what you're looking for next year, what new horizons, what new shoes you got because it really supports me to and each other to actually, you know, really embody that energy and magnify that energy. So wishing you so many blessings at this time.